I'm plugging you
Blog
in.
Talk Radio.
I can hear better while I think.
Here at ACO Radio, American Communications Online, or any affiliated stations or websites are not responsible for what guest hosts or call-ins may say. All programming is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello, world. Welcome aboard, all you ground troops spinning around smartly. I hope you can hear me, but I'm fixing to do a quick sound check with my co-host Richard T. Knight of Valdosta, Georgia. Richard T. Knight, are you there? Can you hear me? Yes or no? No? You're on mute? Let's see. Why am I not being heard? Aileen, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're here. All right, folks, this is Aileen, an artist of, did you say Miami? She's been listening for years and years. You're looking out over the water doing a painting right now, is that correct?
Well, I'm not looking over the water. I'm looking at my backyard jungle, and I'm doing a scene that looks over the water.
Ah.
I'm transporting myself.
Transporting yourself in and out of this dimension, huh? While you're here. Well, Richard, I see you on the board. Yeah. But his number's here, but he might be calling Marci, but he's not. We're not able to hear him. So let me introduce everybody. This is tjmorrisagency Radio, and I've been here since 2012, and before that, I've been a reader most of my life, but I didn't actually start becoming a professional until between 85 and 90. So I guess we'll have to figure out how we're going to go forward in 2021 with people that are called to help us. And I'll see Richard. Let me put you on mute, Aileen. And Aileen has been an artist and says she's been tuning in from the beginning of time, as long as she can remember. And she was very inquisitive about what I wrote today about Marci. So let me see if this is Richard. One more time for Richard tonight. Now I can hear you, Richard.
I had to dial back in.
Interesting.
So I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, it showed your light was red and you were on, the same as Aileen and I. And I don't see Marci yet, so did she know to call in?
She's joining us at a quarter after, because I said to allow her to have the space of introductory to the program and all that kind of good stuff first.
Okay, well, introduce yourself to Aileen. Aileen, this is my co-host, Richard T. Knight. And tell him what you told me. You liked what I wrote about Marci, about how I wrote up the... would you do that again for us, Aileen? So he can hear it? Oh, she will if I turn her on, I thought.
Yeah.
I like where she wrote, we will share Marci, hi Richard, as she returns her life as a carbon-based unit and how it's a biological reincarnate. She chose to return to this 3D reality and begin her spiritual science journey as part of the monad. And then we would like to ask her to share her gifts as an intuitive reading tarot and sharing her tones for those who call in to be part of our talk show live interactive audience.
How about that?
Wonderful. Wunderbar.
Now, Aileen resonated with that paragraph, which I consider all of us that description. If anyone else cares to know, I think that's pretty much any one of us. But I'm so glad, Aileen, that you tuned into that. So, Aileen, while you're here, you tuned into the universe as one of us. What part of that did you relate to? All of it?
Well, the monad, all of it. But, it's the 3D reality, carbon-based, how we're translating our bodies from carbon to crystal, right? I mean, that's what we're supposed to be understanding as we ascend more and more into understanding that we're the light manifested into the physical world. But at the same time, we're all here allowing God's Spirit to work through us. And we can't just sit around waiting for God to do it for us. We have to physically do it. So that's where the carbon base comes in, and my understanding of spirit.
Very nice.
Right? We're all the hands. We're all the hands and the mouth and the eyes and the speech and the feet, and we dance and we talk and we write and we speak and we communicate as the voice of Spirit uses us on the physical plane.
Love it. You're playing our
Aileen,
song.
Yeah, exactly. Aileen, tell people a little about you, and I'll have Richard introduce himself. But tell us a little bit about you, Aileen, because we'll be listening to Marci's spiritual journey in a few moments. But give us a little idea of who you are.
I grew up in New York City. I was given the body to live in a world of one of the best cities in the world, because it's a melting pot of all nationalities, all cultures, all colors, all races. And I started my art career since I'm 8 years old, and now I'm going to be 70. And on my journey, when I was about 16, I looked at the heavens and I said, Lord, I'm your humble servant. Do with me as you wish. And Spirit just started talking to me and guiding me and saying, make the phone call here and call this woman. And before I knew it, I left New York City. And I've hitchhiked through New York City. I've hitchhiked through New York State with a horse and a dog, and I started understanding about the trees, because where I grew up, I wasn't allowed to go on the grass. I had to go to the country, and then the air was just like all of a sudden, it hit me as it's fresh and it's alive and it's living. So my journeys started going out into the world in the cultures of Central America. I hitchhiked through Central America. I've gone on cruise ships teaching people about their own inner being, through helping them express themselves through art. But my paintings are of a different level of color. So I'm bringing down the color from heaven to earth and raising the vibration through the frequency of the color tones that I paint. So when you were writing about the tones, I said, oh, see, she's bringing in the tones, because music and color are sound from the seventh dimension. So I'm working with heaven on earth through the coloration that I paint. And people want to actually live in my paintings and travel into my paintings. So I help the city people come back to Mother Nature, to creation that way. And I live in this town down in South Miami for 40 years, because I have to be close to the trees. So that's where I'm at this point in my life. And I'm self-published, and I have a website, and every day somebody calls me about my art. And I guess you have to have your consciousness open to see color, which is a vibration, which to do also with the opening of your chakras, right, with your endocrine system. And you have to have feelings. So my colors, because I work with the harmonic colors, the emerald greens and the cobalt blues and the periwinkles and the lemon yellows. And it starts to invigorate people in such ways that they start to feel things that they've never been able, or allowed, I should say, allowed to feel, because they've been told too many persecutional words that have come on their body and on their mind growing up. So that's my story. That's my job. That's my purpose. That's my joy. That's my love. And I give it all back to God all the time.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. If you'd like to know a little bit about me, okay, first and foremost, I came into this incarnation with 14 senses and no separation whatsoever between me and Godhead. So basically, I was well aware of who I was, why I was here, and exactly where I had came from. Of course, it's very unusual for an infant to come out of the womb and begin speaking, because when the doctor slapped my butt, I grabbed his arm and said, do it again and I'll break it. And, of course, he immediately wanted to leave the room, because he's saying, wait a minute, this is not supposed to happen. So anyway, that began my journey. And on one level, as far as origin is concerned, I am considered a celestial healer. So in other words, I heal entire universes and not just a single planet. However, the Earth had been in so stymied a case, or stymied a position of whatever, of negative beings taking control of the human race for a good long time, and a number of other things, that it came to Godhead's divine perception and divine awareness, and the need appeared to be severely great that this planet as a planet itself not only needed healing, but also the race that inhabited the planet they're on. So therefore, that is why I am here as a celestial healer, and I am a Reiki Grandmaster. I practice 5 different techniques of Reiki. Like you, I do have a web page and a website. However, it's been very discreet, okay? I've been doing mainly distance healing Reiki, but I do also do Reiki one-on-one with clients and so on and so forth. I also am very disciplined, and I'm also very educated. I am a Grandmaster in the martial arts, and I am also a doctorate in theology, divinity, religious science, and metaphysics. I am also an ordained Eastern Orthodox Egyptian Coptic bishop. So I have been ordained as a minister since the age of 19, and I have been ordained as a bishop since the age of 28. So I am currently 65, so yes, I have tread my path very heroically, always going out of my way to serve the needs of others and basically serve justice as well in regards to, you know, not allowing people to be trod down by the system per se. And, of course, spiritual counseling along the way. And, of course, I am very, very intuitive. I am very telepathic. And I had a rather abrupt and strange childhood, and I won't go into all the significators thereof, other than to say that they were all lessons to be learned and information to be gained. And yes, I would say that we are in definite ascension process. We have been here 3 times before, Kali Yuga-wise, which is a period of approximately 50,000 or better years, and at the end of which, you know, mankind came to this path, this juncture where they were saying, well, okay, are we going to ascend and become more truly the perfect selves and the divine beings that we are, or are we going to disseminate into materiality? And I won't, again, I don't like to broadcast in any way anything that's negative, other than to say that mankind received some very grave lessons during those particular periods. Now, of course, we're at the same juncture, but we are most fortunate in the fact being that the light has overcome the darkness to the largest extent, and so therefore God's plan for us all to ascend is in the process of doing so. And of course, I support this wholeheartedly, both as a minister and a Reiki master, and of course as a spiritual counselor. And I use tarot, and I read energy, and I do psychic impression readings. And in the short and sweet of it, that's where I'm coming from.
Wow. Fabulous. I love it.
Yep. Well, hopefully TJ's there. Is she there creeping around in the background or what? Hello.
Yeah. I'll see. Are you here?
There she is.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Okay.
Everybody, this is Marci Kosich of Reno, Nevada. Am I saying that right? Marci, please introduce yourself. And people are waiting to hear all about you, including Aileen and Richard and I. So introduce yourself, Marci. Say it properly, Kosich or Kosich.
Kosich. Marci is fine. I've been doing readings, healings since 1982, since I was 20. I'm turning 60 in April. So it's been about 40 years on this spiritual journey, emotional journey, psychological journey, psychic journey, and rebalancing everything in my life. And so my book I wrote about 10 years ago were actually The Wizards, where I was brought up in Piedmont, California, and my friends and I were brought up in an upper class where we didn't know anything about social services. We were abused, neglected, but we were brought up in nice houses, and so a lot of that stuff was there was a dome, kind of around us. So a lot of us kind of ended up dabbling in psychics and spiritual, or we were guided to it. Some of my friends I'm still friends with, or they've come back in my life since I was 16. And I just started dabbling into, I was at a church party, and somebody did a regular deck of tarot readings, and I kind of took off from there. And then I found out in other lifetimes I've been a gypsy. So it's been a process. My great aunt died when I was 22. and a friend of mine and I went to go visit my uncle, and I left the bedroom and I went into the bathroom, and I kept on hearing, "This is your Aunt Nita." So that was my clairaudience. And then I also saw a spirit on my wall when I was like 17 or 18, and a friend of mine and I were playing the Ouija board. And I go, "What's the name of the spirit?" Because when spirits come in the room, what I learned, the room temperature changes, lights flick off and on, things move, which is called apport. So they spelled his name Linda Lee, and my neighbors were like really elderly, and I grew up in the house. I think my parents died like 1960. I was born in 61, and it's a 1927 Mediterranean. So my neighbors confirmed that somebody named Linda Lee did live there. So it's just been kind of like this journey of deja vus, experiences where I thought I was going to do things freely, and like I took off up to like Middle Washington, and with two gypsies in Florida where I want to get out of California. I had like several deja vus there. When I came back, when I was like 22, my roommate and I decided we were going to move. So I applied for a job for au pair in Marin. And what happened in that journey is I thought it was one kid, and my friend's boyfriend came with us, so she took off with him, so I got hired without the husband's permission. There were 4 kids, and through that started my journey. When they were into metaphysics, like I hit the car or ran the car, and they're like, "Oh, you're out of the body." I didn't know what any of that meant. The mom, Beth, took me to a psychic. The psychic or channeled Omar. I said, "What is it I do?" And they said, "Psychokinesis." And I said, "What is that?" And they said, "Moving and clearing energy." So I've incorporated my clairaudience, my clairvoyance, my clairsentience, the psychokinesis. And then when I was about 25, somebody did tones on me. And then when I started working on Arenum about 8 years ago, I started practicing the tones. Arenum is an international Skype company. You guys could always Google it, where your face is on there and they can type in. So I'm like, I'll try the tones. And then people say, "I'm feeling lighter. This pain is disappearing. I'm feeling better." And so I started incorporating the tones with all the healings, and that's why I eventually called myself a medical intuitive, and then eventually I woke up with the name multidimensional healer, which each dimension is a different level of consciousness, and each frequency is higher and higher. So Richard and I have connected, and so we get these long conversations, energies, exchanges, healings on who and what we are, or what's around us.
And Aileen is here. And Aileen, I'd like you to talk to Marci. This is going to be Marci's show today. I want this to be something she can use on her domains and websites. But Aileen, with your colors and tones, you called in specifically to speak with her today. So Aileen, have you any questions for Marci, or would you two just like to do a round table?
Hi, Aileen.
Richard, I'll meet.
Hi, Marci. I love, okay, let's put it this way. The colors that I paint, I've always said they're harmonic colors. They're not the earthy tones, meaning the fall colors and all that. That doesn't grab me. Mine has to go to the etheric kingdom that comes through me onto the earth plane. So I have the jewel tones, but the way I was given, Spirit guides me, and they're always there over my shoulder and they're saying, "We need the aqua there, and we need the lime greens here, and we need the beautiful passionate pinks here." And then you have, so I'm like you, I'm intuitive, but I'm also trained. I'm an artist, and I can draw, and I make things look 3-dimensional as I progress and I develop myself. And I've been doing this for over 50 years, full time. Like I'm outside right now painting in my backyard in South Florida in the jungle. It's like I breathe and eat.
Eileen, I have several friends that have done that. I have, if you look at my book is acronym of Theta for Tarot, Healing, Energy, Tones, and Ascension. And in my book, I have channel drawings and automatic drawings. And my good friend Shauna, and Richard's now become friends with Shauna, you know, she drew me a little gray cloud. And then years before that, Suzanne did Little Gray Cloud, but she also did a massive, like, aura painting of me. And so she goes, you're not supposed to know all this stuff, so I understand colors are vibration. Each color is a vibration. Each sound is a vibration. And so, like, when I do my tones, my friend Mervyn also would say, Marci, gold is coming out, white is coming out. Richard would see all these different colors. So I completely understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And verify it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And this lady I know, she saw that, and this is kind of what you're talking about. When I was on Lemuria, I was sent down here to set it up so that when the souls were coming here, I could see their colors, and I knew who to put who together with. And so when people see me at art shows, the first thing they say is, your colors. You know, it's like I'm striking a chord in their heart, in their soul, to wake them up. And then they come back because their souls need to be fed more and more and more. And it's really a beautiful thing, because all I'm doing is my work. You know, and I'm just doing what God's telling me. And my fortunate is that I've lived in the Caribbean since 1968, and I've lived in huts, and I've lived with the people, and I've worked on farms. So I'm getting the vibration of the land that I'm walking on, and the soil, and the food that comes from the trees, and the food that comes from the earth. And it comes in me, and then it channels out through my hands.
Eileen?
Yes.
I know that I haven't gone too much into it, but I have the masters around me, and I didn't go too much into that. And as we raise our frequency, we get higher and higher guides. And so as I continually clear on myself, I've gotten masters, and Richard and I get together, and we have these powerful experiences. They want to give me a subtle tone to you, because what they do is they connect. When I was on Reno, there was a person named Annie that did transmedium that we didn't even know. She was a client of mine, and all of a sudden Elohim came through. And they're like, we like what you do. And so for a year and a half, she would go in full trance on it. And I said, well, what do the tones do? They said it brings them down so we can work on people's Akashic records. And so sounds and tones have been around for thousands and thousands of years. And it's the 442 hertzes that are going on. So I never know when they're going to come in or who they're going to come in. But they want to give like a site a little subtle, because I could blast it really loud, and I've broken mirrors on my sound, you know, or energy.
Does it come through your mouth? Does it come through your mouth?
Any tone, any, you know, drums, chings. I feel as I worked on myself, the power, and that's part of the psychokinesis, where the tones break up blocked energy of the lower carbon energy. That's what I was telling TJ on Hermetic Intuitive, where it's past lives, it's inner child, it's post-traumatic. It's all these different things to allow the light codes and the higher frequencies, kind of like oil and water, to come through. And so I told Elohim, you know, years I will work with him. And so I've had a plethora of masters, you know, working with me and through me. And TJ, you don't know this, and I was just talking to Richard about this, because I just have been in this womb state in the last 2 weeks, cleaning and healing and balancing, because my car was stolen, I think, for trafficking. And we're starting all this, the radio show, and my guide said, go on. My boss just called, and the state just cut back the hours, so I am only going to be working on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So, whoa. So, folks, we're going to have to get paid for our time. So I did set up Ascension Church Ohana Spiritual Science Society, a domain. So we've got one over there. We just got to know whose names. I put mine and Richard's on there, but I guess we'll put yours too, and then whatever. Eileen, you too.
Yeah,
we'll just put whoever has to get paid for their time and see if we can market it together. It's going to be a marketing site.
Right.
Yeah, so I did that right before I came on. Go ahead, y'all.
Well,
I'm a mute.
It happened like 2 hours ago. You know, I went to lunch with a friend of mine, and then they called, and I've just been in this letting go of everything to allow space to come in. So then Richard called about me doing the show today, and then my boss I'm like, okay, that's fine. I wasn't stressed on all that. My car is still in the shop, and it all worked out. I've got to really do this tone because they come in really strong until I do what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what you guys were feeling on that one, but that will connect you with more guides, Eileen, because that's what it does. Did you feel anything on that?
Yeah, and it also brought me back to this woman who I don't know, about 7 years ago, she went, so I don't want to say it, but she said that I came from a place called Honda.
Okay.
And it was the seventh vibration, and I said, well, that makes sense because 7 relates to sound and color.
Right.
But what you're just saying is very, 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 very high pitched.
Oh, let's go on higher. They don't want to blow circuits, as they say, because they come in and they've cured diseases, they've cured out past lives, inner child. What they do is they break up our many dimensions and our many layers, and so that was a subtle one. The powers and the tones, Richard and TJ can confirm, get a lot stronger. But they didn't want to shock people, so they came in kind of as a low but powerful sound.
There's another person here, too. Do y'all want to let this person on while you're doing tones, or you want to wait a minute? I don't know.
I've done like 10 different radio shows, and they've all resonated really well with my tones. They've all felt it, and it's supposed to go out to the universe.
All right, I turned on a Sacramento number, 916-897. You're live and on the air.
Okay, that's a little help for me.
Oh, somebody you know? All right. Hello? Can you hear us?
No. I just it's nobody I know. Oh, maybe it's... Anyway, just answer this one.
Can you hear us?
Marci, I just want to tell you. Hello? Marci.
Hello?
Hello?
This is Laura.
Hi, Laura. I had a feeling with you.
116 number.
Yeah, Laura's my friend, and she's also connected with Richard. We've been building a really solid white cosmic consciousness energy.
Okay, well, introduce Laura to Eileen. I'm TJ, and Richard's here. So the whole gang's here, y'all. We got 6 phone numbers on plus the studio. All right, I'm going to mute because I'm sort of the producer. I just pay the bills, y'all. So y'all go ahead and do your thing. Richard, sort of co-host here and help. Well, you can't see the board. Okay, I'll watch the board. I'm sitting right here listening attentively. But with this many people, if we all talk, we won't hear each other. So just don't talk all over each other. Eileen knows because she's been listening for years. Richard's been on with her. And so, Laurie, it's just me and you. But, Laurie, introduce yourself to the world, please, and I'm going to mute.
Hi, my name's Laura Leone, and I got to know Marci through reading her book, Theta, and actually I met her because I live about an hour away from her, kind of local, and I've just been blown away with her, and we've been friends ever since.
Laura she's a high frequency, she's a little younger than me, but that's what I was saying, this collection of the people that 4 people that are connected with, they're all now friends with each other. And it was kind of funny when I wrote my book that I'm like, if there's one person, it's worth it, and it turned out to be Laura. And Laura and now Richard are really connected because they are both in the military. Laura is very intuitive. Laura, I don't know if you want to tell about what you do, but just highly intuitive, highly loving, definitely an angel on earth and meant for all this connection that we're doing.
Well, Aileen, this is sort of your interview, supposedly, but Richard knows questions to ask because he knows you. Aileen came specifically because the universe called her. Lori here obviously is here to support you. So, folks, we're going to do this intuitive roundtable, and I guess we're all intuitive. So let's see what Lori has to bring to the table. And, Richard, I'm going to mute and let you co-host between these beautiful ladies. You just keep them rolling so we don't have any dead air, okay? All right, Lori, tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey. Tell us a little bit your spiritual journey with Aileen. And, Aileen, you listen to Lori, maybe y'all have something in common, and I'll mute.
Okay.
Hello, Aileen. Nice to meet you.
You too, Lori.
It's actually Laura, but actually my mom is Lori, who I was named after.
Sorry.
Thank you. So the last couple of years I've been kind of realizing that I'm having a spiritual awakening, but, I feel like we all are. We just get to a certain point where you can't ignore it anymore. And, I started with getting readings from others, and now I do my own intuitive work as well, and did a lot of inner work, and even looked into my DNA because my background of my mom is Norwegian Scottish and my dad is Mexican. So on this side, my dad's side is Mesoamerican, Native American, and so spiritually I've been really researching that, and I haven't gotten in that deep, but I reached out to Marci, and since I've met Richard, who's also a great healer, and I see them as mentors. So I'm not sure if you've had similar experiences, but I would love to hear it.
I just met these two people and you, and then the host, I got all these names, I have to look them up, Theresa, TJ, today. It's the first time, and I come from a different reality in the sense that I grew up in New York City, but I'm an artist and I travel the world by spiritual guidance and where God sends me. So if somebody says, what are you going to do next week? And I said, I don't know what's happening this afternoon.
That's me.
And here I am talking to you guys on the radio. See what I mean? It's like the whole thing is you got to be in the now. You just got to be in the now and always be of service.
Yes, the now is definitely a roller coaster.
Oh, boy, is it ever. But I think the more you clear out fears and phobias and illusions and being more of the observer, then you calm down and you just go with the flow, because the flow is always beautiful, really.
I call it the cosmic chessboard, like what happened with me today. And because I've built up support system with Richard, Laura, and several other people, it's been and now they're all supporting each other, which is great, so that none of their stuff is their imagination, whatever they are seeing, feeling, and hearing. But it's like, as you say, second by second. So in the last 2 weeks, I haven't worked, and I've just been calm, and I just kind of let everything go to what's happening. I know that we're all interviewing, but my guides are like, they want me to now do a low tone, which Richard has said has been pre-Aztec. So they're working in. That's when they say do the show. That means that sometimes they come through me to help heal the earth, the energy, the vibrations, but we all have free will. So I just let all that stuff go. So I'm going to hit like a small tone of low to rebalance, as Richard said, the lower chakras. We did the higher chakras a second ago, and they're only like a few seconds, but they're also really powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel better on that one.
Marci,
I don't hear enough of you.
Yeah, Marci, just as a tip, you may need to get closer to your microphone.
I agree.
You're not close enough, and the tone is somewhat fading in and out.
Yeah,
well, and
you sound like you're in a hollow.
Well, no, and it's to do with the frequency. As Richard and I know, it's just there's times that, like, just because you won't hear it doesn't mean it's not affecting you. One of the people that I worked on in Reno, he was deaf, and it was a private guy, private reading, and I was seeing him, he was seeing me, and he could feel the energy of it. And there's times that people will not hear the sounds because it's a different frequency. And as you and I, Richard and I have had Skype blow up. We've had all these different things just shut down. And years ago when I asked Elohim, what is it, why is it that we get these things stopped? And they told me years ago, your frequency is so high, technology can't handle it. So I did put the phone closer, but it just made me frequency.
I agree with Richard. It almost sounded like you were in the background. Some of your words I can't understand, but now it's getting closer.
Okay, I've got it now up to my mouth, but sometimes people tell me that's too close. So it's just experimenting of what's good and bad, works and doesn't.
Well, we hear you very clearly now.
Spirit.
All right, let us say as a conjunctive universal consensus between all of us that when we are breaking off or finished saying what we have said, let us say that, take it away, Marci, or take it away, Aileen, or take it away, Laura, and it gives space. You see what I'm saying? And we're not talking over each other.
Right. Well, I'll just say I'm done because I don't know who wants to talk next, so I just kind of leave it open to whoever wants to say something.
That also works.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Go ahead, Laura.
Okay. No, it's Aileen.
Go ahead, Aileen. You sound kind of like Laura.
Okay, so can I shift the conversation just a tiny bit to a personal need in my life right now? Okay,
go ahead.
So being that there's a whole slew of you all here, could you just give me some insight on a situation that I'm patiently waiting for almost 2 months, and it has to do with having my roof repaired? Does anybody pick up anything on that? Because what?
I get you're supposed to move. The energy does. It's like with me with my car. It's just sometimes the universe stops stuff. I feel kind of a wall, but your energy is kind of like what I'm getting on a spiritual level with you. It's like those freeze frame moments where it's like you start jumping in air to take a leap and then you just kind of freeze.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what they're showing me right now, where you're in mid and you need to, or the universe needs to help you land on what you're supposed to do next. They say you've been in limbo for 3 months.
I gave a deposit, for them just while they're waiting. It's like because of the situation on the earth, the people who do all the planning, the permitting from downtown, they don't have a lot of people working in the offices.
Oh, okay. I'm being told in a week.
Okay,
They're
good.
Saying,
that's what I want to know.
I'm getting mid-March. I'm getting the 15th.
Okay, good. Okay, great. All right. I will let you know about that because that's why I was just, when is the permit coming in? Because as soon as the permit comes in, everything will start moving.
I understand. And it's kind of like what's been going on with me. My car has been on hold. My car was stolen, I feel, for trafficking because there was a different license plate. There was backpacks. They direct ignition. And now they sent the car where I was able to heal, work all this stuff out. And they sent the wrong steering column with missing parts, so they had to send it back. So I've been on hold, as Richard and Laura know, for the last 2 months. So I just take these times to heal, rebalance, we've been working on the radio show or whatever's going on. So I think with the tones that they just did, that will help you go forward because your energy has been stuck.
Well, you mean
if
my
that
house?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, your house is part of your energy. It's kind of a metaphor with the energy of yourself. When you clear out other issues within yourself, things will start going forward.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I'm in a really peaceful place. I'm in a really creative place. Financially, I'm doing great. Everything is really good.
Okay.
It's just that I'm always waiting on other people. And because I'm such a doer and such a creator, I make things happen fast, So when you have to deal with other people, things like you have to deal with other people.
Maybe that's why they're telling you to step back and work on yourself. And that's what I had to learn lessons on, being restless, not being able to sit still. And so now it's just time to go inward, and then when you go inward, then things will start moving. Sometimes the universe takes things away so that we can work on whatever that's happening.
Well, I've been working on that. I've been working on that my whole life. And I always step back and I say, okay. Yeah, this isn't working this way because I have to go and clean that room. I get it. I understand.
Right.
There's always something to complete.
I'm going to
go with the 15th.
Yeah, go with the 15th.
Let me make a comment real quick here. Eileen, I see the paperwork signed on the 19th. Okay, so you have 10 days to wait in regards to your permit.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And then things will flow. My concern is I just want it done before the rainy season. That's all. That's all.
Hopefully it won't rain in 10 days, but who knows?
Well, it's
and
not
you're in New York?
Now. No, I'm in Miami. I'm in Miami. So when we have rainy season, it delays things. So
right.
And it's gorgeous weather here now. It's probably about 68 degrees. It's brisk, but it's warm at the same time. So,
Aileen, I want to do a little bit of one more note on your heart chakra.
Yeah,
it feels like you just jumped right on that one. Because that will help open up the flow. It's kind of like we have damned energy on levels we're not even aware of. So this will open up a little bit more. That's going on. This is going to be a high-pitched one.
Go ahead. I'm ready. My arms are open to the sky.
Oh! That got things opening.
I feel it in my fingertips.
Yeah, movement, energy, flow.
Thank you.
I'm done. I don't know if you guys want what we're doing, if more calls are coming in, you guys want to ask questions. I just need to release that stuff from Aileen.
Thank you. I want to, Richard, can you talk some more about what you do? Because that sounds so fantastic.
Well, I mean, we all follow paths, and I've been here thousands of times. I can't even tell you how many times I've actually been incarnated here. Fortunately for me, I have at least 1,000 lives archived, and so I draw from the experience and the wisdom thereof in my day-to-day life, just as a perceptual person. I'm naturally empathic. I am very intuitive, and I basically am in communion constantly with my higher self. And I specify the higher self as being, you could say, the go-between between our conscious physical selves and our spiritual selves. So in other words, on the top of all things, of course, is the oneness, the oneness of unconditional love, which is the source of all beings and the creator of all beings. And then, of course, you could say that below that you have the male and the female, or the god and the goddess, and they are equals. And from there, basically, all of our religions flow, and all of our traditions flow, and all of our different pathways flow in regards to initiatory systems and all of this nature. So I am also a shaman of about a dozen different paths. The last path that I completed was the medicine wheel path with the Cherokee in Southern California, and that was this life. Okay, I am a Reiki Grandmaster. I was trained by a person that was actually located in Romania at the time that I was initiated both into the Usai and the Tibetan traditions, and I was brought to master teacher level on both of those traditions. And so basically I do psychic impression readings per se. In other words, I read a person's energy and I'm able to produce from that energy reading exactly where the person's at and more or less where they're headed pretty much. But I've also been reading the tarot since the age of 12, and I'm now 65. I'm also a very strong intuitive channeler. I have channeled lots of different ascended masters, and I even channeled the Holy Ghost last Sunday, which completely took me off guard because I certainly wasn't expecting it. But then when God moves and you're the messenger and you're the servant, the beauty of it is when you surrender to the will of God, you do in fact become within the divine essence, in a sense, in that you're constantly in contact with the flow, as you have expressed, Aileen. You step into the flow, and life just kind of all of a sudden cranks up to all kinds of synchronicities and all kinds of beautiful happenings. And of course, you don't have any worry or any doubt, and you're not really anxious about it because it just flows to you. And things just all happen, synchronistically from that aspect. So, I mean, naturally, Marci and I have known each other for about 4 or 5 years, okay? I've only recently become in contact with TJ. We've only known each other for about 3 months. And, of course, Laura and I are even more recent, even though we have been friends for a bit. We have actually only started contacting each other in the last few days. So, you see, everything is synchronistic, and, of course, everybody's vibrations and frequencies match each other, and when they do, we all kind of collide as we're doing right now. So basically, I give spiritual counseling and spiritual insights from many different panoramas, from many, as I like to say, I wear thousands of hats, okay? And the hats themselves, as far as the titles go, don't actually mean a whole lot. It's the experience and the wisdom that is gained in the treading of that path and the completion of that path. So, that's basically what I do. I also heal, of course, both in person, but I also do a tremendous amount of long-distance healing. I am also a member of what you would call an ascended group of healers that meet every so often on Skype and on Zoom, and you may have heard us. We resonate around the world because we have international members all over the world, and our host and basically counselor of sorts is Mikhail, Mikhail, and I've been with that group now for about 3 years, and of course I've undergone a tremendous amount of physical and spiritual changes with his assistance, as he in turn has also done the same. And he runs around in the UK mainly, and we're brothers in heart and spirit, in a manner of speaking. And I mean, like I said, synchronistic reality basically puts people into your life that basically will help you ascend even farther than you're doing on your own. And so it becomes kind of like a support group. And I mean, we have called forth hosts of angels. I also work very closely with the Archangel Michael, the Archangel Raphael, the Archangel Gabriel, the Archangel Uriel, and of course the Archangels Metatron and Zadkiel. So that's all 6 directions of the archangels. Metatron above us, Zadkiel below us, and then the other 4 directions. You have Raphael in the east, and then you have Michael in the south, and then Gabriel in the west, and then Uriel in the north. And of course, these also parallel with all the elements. And then of course, you've got the Fey Kingdom, which basically is a lot of the sprites and other elementals that are alive and well in our immediate environment. And yes, I do talk to trees. I am a druid and an archdruid, and I just, like I said, I wear many hats. I've been told that I am a master Taoist, and I'm also a master Zen, and a bodhisattva, and all kinds of different levels of persuasion and levels of perception per se, that are very deeply respected in a lot of different cultures around the world. And, it's not, I always like to say, that when I heal someone, it is not me doing the healing. Rather, I am only the vessel through which the healing occurs. because in essence that is very true, because my spirit in turn melts with the Spirit of God, and God uses me as the vessel through which the energy flows unto that given individual. And I mean, it's been a rocky road by all means, but that's pretty much where I'm at. And like I said, I appreciate Marci as a person. I interpret her tones at times, both by color and also by origin. Well, sometimes they're pretty far out there,
Well, we both know that.
But
have any of you ever seen Jesus?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've worked with Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus, mostly ascended masters are from Sirius. It's a vibrational frequency.
And would you say?
Sirius. That's where a lot of the ascended masters are from. Syria.
Okay.
Syria, yeah. So everything is a frequency. And so what happens with a lot of these people that pray with angels cannot deal with the dense, lower carbon energy, which is what I work with clearing out shame, fear, guilt, all that type of stuff. So they're like, so as you raise your vibration, it's like a radio channel. And so we've all adjusted to be on the same radio. And so as you raise your vibration, and this is why when I was working on Reno and Elohim came through Abby, because as I wanted to say this is an international group I wanted to start, and they're like, we like what you do. And so it's just kind of work from there. Also, what I've been doing recently is I have been incorporating tones with tarot, where I will do tarot readings, I will feel where the energies are, and I will do tones to release the block to help change people's future. Because a lot of people are stuck on that same wheel, and this gets them off into the direction of what they need to do. And a lot
are y'all
of
ready to start doing readings?
What?
Your people are starting to call in now. I told them on the show, the second hour call in, 347-945-7207. So they're starting to call in now. They were very patiently waiting, so we're just starting to get them to call in to get in line. Says, thought you'd like to do some reading.
Open. I'm glad Richard got to talk and tell about him, and, they could feel the power and the energy.
All right. Well, Laurie, you and Aileen want to stick around to see if you want to see who's calling?
Yes.
And I don't know how big this group will get. All right, we'll just start, and then I'll have to just ask them if they're calling, what they're calling in for, and their name. So, folks, please like us on the front. I forget that Blog Talk Radio does like us to be liked, and that will help me. And I do distribute all over the place with Spotify, Spreaker, and Stitcher, and anywhere you can get your blog. I'm always looking out there. When I'm not doing radio shows, I'm building domains and helping entrepreneurs and mostly people in the spiritual science community. So that's what I do besides readings. So here we go. I usually do them on Thursdays. Hi, 630. You're live and on the air. Where are you calling from? What's your name? And what can we do for you today? What interested you?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. My name is Dion. I'm calling from Chicago. And it just looked like an interesting show. Hi.
Well, there's never a dull moment on the spiritual realm.
Correct.
We're featuring Marci Kosich today on Tuesdays.
You said Marci Kosich.
oh, that's weird. Marci Kosich. Wow, that was weird. We have Marci with Laurie here supporting her. So anyway, Laura of California. Laura of California. I have to put that on the marquee. Aileen, artist of Florida. She does beautiful colors. So you weren't really calling in for a reading? You just wanted to call in and say hi to Marci in the group, or what's going on?
Well, I mean, I'm just walking my dog. It's a beautiful day out, and I just tuned in just to see what was going on.
Okay. Guess she's in tune. Take it away, Miss Featured Psychic Reader of the Day, Toner Marci Kosich.
Well, you could have been guided also. For some reason, it's because, like I said, I channel the masters. They come through. They said in the next week things are going to start accelerating with you. One of the things that Elohim had said, which is not religious, but what I learned, the way that they work, is we test you, and if you pass the test, they give you opportunity. That's how they work. And so there's something you've just gone through really intensely in the last week, and you're just about ready to finish it, and they're telling you to get ready for acceleration.
Oh, that's so nice. I know what that is, too.
Do you want to share it, or if you don't want to, that's
yeah.
okay.
So I've been writing a book it took me about 8 years, and I just put it up for pre-sale, and it'll be done in about a week.
Oh, wow.
And I've
What's
already
the book
sold
about?
copies and everything. The book is a memoir about how my inheritance was stolen from me, and about 8 years in the legal system, and how I was never given a fair try, in the legal system.
I've got a sister that's my trustee, and that's been all what I've been going through the last 20 years. So I understand.
Okay.
The mental, the physical, emotional, the psychological, that's part of what my books are about, is how I overcame all those. The whole thing with my book with Theta is about to bring chaos into peace. And Richard knows he's been helping me. Laura's been helping me on my sister and the power that she has and what she's been doing. So it's great. The more that you can overcome that on the levels, and I'm glad they verified it.
Yes, that was a wonderful message. Thank you.
I'm just the messenger, like Richard says, with a conduit. I'm told to tell certain things. If I don't give, tell, or say, or tone, they come at me until I do what I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
It's been an interesting journey. It is.
All right, Pastor Theresa, if you're there, next caller, please. And you're welcome, of course, to continue listening, of course, always.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Come back. All right, they dropped off, so maybe they'll come back in a moment. So back to Laura and Aileen. I guess they needed some more time to discuss something. How do we put these tones with the colors and with Laura DNA until somebody else calls?
That would be cool.
There's one of the books that really helped me a lot. It's called Hands of Light Healing by Barbara Brennan. She was channeling Hey Ellen. Yeah, and it was funny when I was 25 and I read that book. I'm like, I do all this. She explained, and then she's got the other book. I forgot the name, but I got both of them. But they're in my book. And each color is a vibration. And I think, like when I read with Chiron, well, when Shauna does her channel drawing or I do my automatic drawing, they say it's layers of a hologram when we do our drawings. So it may look at one level, but there's many, many dimensions on the levels that are going on. So these messages, channel drawings, channel paintings, that whole stuff is great where people they might not understand it physically, but they understand it subconsciously.
And just as an insight, okay, you should understand that as you're doing your paintings, the colors that you're actually using are a vibratory tone that everyone that looks and gazes upon them, it's reaching actually out to their spirit. And they're recognizing that,
I do that.
All that good stuff.
And that's in part of my biography, that the spirit that comes through me opens its heart.
I would love to Skype with you, or if you want to Facebook me or LinkedIn me.
Yes,
you're welcome
to. Some information. Just tell me something so I can write it down.
Yeah, it's under Marci Kosich. Oh, okay. And then,
a piece of paper, and let me write it down. Hold on.
Well, our more personal contact information will be shared at the end of the show,
Yeah. Just get your paper. We're going to go on to the next person, and we'll figure it all out.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. All right.
Well, I don't know that there is a next person at the moment. Actually, we're into pause because there's information to be shared amongst the four of us at the moment that Spirit is moving through us. And as that's shared, then in turn, of course, we'll be ready and open to have another caller make comments, voice their opinion, or whatever they like to do. Specifically, we are not really focused on giving readings today, even though they seem to be interspersed hereabouts, which is fine. I mean, again, as God moves through us, we do as we're called upon.
Let's
talk about what's happening on the earth. Let's talk about what's happening on the earth with the public, with the world. Do you see? Well, there's a lot of shaking going on. A lot of people are waking up, and maybe they don't quite know what they're waking up to, but they know that there is a lot of disintegration of the old ways.
Oh, yeah, me.
That's the third dimension.
Me. What? Can I say something that's sort of like the world? This is TJ, folks, of all these beautiful ladies, all these psychic intuitives. What happened for me today because of the world, and I wasn't tuned in last night because I was working, trying to help get our intuitives. I'm working on a very high level, and I know that for the universe. And so I wasn't tuned into the world down here on 3D Planet, So today I was barraged with people coming into my house trying to get to the Harry Meghan story, and I was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
They said, Oprah, you got to get on Oprah. And can we wash our clothes because blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. And, oh, by the way, I need something to eat. And I was like, okay, well, sit down. Here's some snacks. So that was what was going on for me on the world, on the planet. But the big story, which I had no clue, was they broke the story finally. There's silence after being, I guess, from Canada to America and California and at Oprah's friend's house somewhere where Oprah's got big thing in Hawaii I know about, and then in California. But the thing was, I started tuning in on, I couldn't get it. I went to CBS and it was already over with. But then I started summoning through where I have that 5G where it's like a smart house and you get all the zincs and all the television stations that I pay like an extra $100 for. So on my thing, we could go to, that's why they came over. They don't have it. So we went onto the internet and we went onto YouTube and we started hitting. Some of them were already taken down. So by the time we went to all the different channels on, NBC, CBS, blah, 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 and all these special F News or Sun News, and went to BBC and went to the Royals where they talk about the Royals. I mean, we were investigating everywhere. And then finally we realized at the end, the little snippets, they have, folks, what's called sound bites, if you're into communications television. So all the stations had sound bites. But by the time I heard the first part where Oprah asked if they were being paid for this, no, not at all. This is, their own free will, sort of like. So I got that sound bite from one place, and then over and over they showed that only once. But the others we tried to get, and they were already taken down. But on one of the sound bites, it was mainly about racism and the color of what color their baby would be, or if they didn't have protection and the baby wouldn't have titles because of the royal. And the other thing was you had to go to each different little place to hear the sound bites, but they were all over The View. I watched Whoopi Goldberg. So people usually, we're studying the pandemic, but just for the last day, and everywhere I switched, I got a little bit of a sound bite. But on one of them, it said CBS. After it was aired with Oprah, so there must have been a deal because Oprah went to their marriage, the big royal wedding. So somewhere along the line, they had waited a couple of years till Oprah did the perfect interview, but they didn't get paid apparently, at least on camera. But then Oprah, now this was on one of the soundbites that CBS bought it for $7 million. So I guess we'll have to pay CBS or they're going to sell it. But I wanted to hear y'all's saying on today's news, just because you guys are intuitives, but we can't even hear, once it's done, folks, sometimes when it's live, then it's gone if you didn't get to hear it. So did any of you tune in last night or whenever this was to hear the Oprah interview? I'll let each one of you, I'll just say yes or no, because I think that's going to be important in the future. Anybody hear what I'm talking about?
Yes.
No.
Okay, who said no?
Aileen.
So Richard, Aileen didn't watch it like I did. And it's okay, folks, if you're, not tuned into the world and that story, because I'm sure you are now. All right, so me and Aileen didn't. Richard did. What about you, Marci? Did you tune in?
No, I watched it. That's what the news is for.
You watched it?
Yeah, I watched it.
You and Richard
I didn't watch it full.
What about you, Laura?
No, I didn't watch it. Sorry to say.
Okay, so there's 3 to 2. All right, well, Richard and Marci, which are like the 2 people that know each other best on the whole show. I just met Aileen, and I'm sure it was for a reason because she's always been plugged into Blog Talk all this time. But Laura came over because Marci asked her to. So, there's no – oh, wait, there are 2. No, wait, let's see. 520. Whoops, I guess we do have a call. Darn it. All right, but in between calls, I want to get the skinny on the ones that heard it. That'd be Marci and Richard. So y'all do your little sound bites on it. But let's take this call. 520. Hi, you're live and on the air with a lot of psychics. How are you today? Our intuitives.
How cute. You sound cute. Thank you. Can I ask
what's
any
your name?
questions?
Oh, yeah. Where are you calling from? Where's 520?
Lisa, Arizona.
Arizona. Her name is Lisa, and she would like to ask a question. So
yes, please.
Go for it.
Between me and Aaron, can you tell me what kind of energy you pick up, please? We just started a new intimacy between us. We've been friends we've known each other for 2 months, and having a great time talking, and then we became intimate the last week or so. And I'm just wondering where y'all see it going or what you see there, please.
Well, I get you guys are right. It's mute. What's mute? It just said muted.
No, I'm here.
No, I know, but I just
here.
heard it muted. You guys are kind of like adjusting your frequencies to each other. There's a little bit of fear, very, very minor on both ends, and then once you get through that, it's like I tell people sometimes they put the brakes and the gas on at the same time, come further, stop. But you guys you're working through it where you're able to flow more. You're almost there. I'd say like 85%, but there's still a little bit more tweaking. But all in all, it feels good.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm really feeling. I haven't had
what I tell
connection in most of my life. I haven't had it, and now I'm going crazy with it in the way of. I told him I feel nuts about him, but I'm really.
I tell people when we're in fear, we contract our energy, and when we're in love, we expand our energy. And so as you're working through this, you're getting more and more, like I said, flowing. There's going to be a little bit more. I think in about a month, you guys will really locked in on the relationship. I'm getting like the beginning of May. But right now it's going to be a little bit, testing and rebalancing, that type of stuff. But I'm not getting any bad feelings, which is good.
Wow, that is great. I just feel so confused by my it fell into my lap unexpectedly. So I'm very confused by why I feel this way.
Right. And when I was doing a lot of healing on myself, one of the guys said that confusion is your energy is intertwined with the other person. So you need to step back and stay in your energy or your being and him and his, so you two are not overlapping within each other. If that makes sense. That way you won't be so confused. You'll be more in your own essence.
Well,
but you've been there.
Okay. Well, let's see, we saw each other on Saturday, and we spent the whole day together, and then he works a lot, and then he said that we had a very long talk about all of this, and I said, I'm very confused, but I'm very crazy about you, and I'm very confused, I kept saying, and he said that he wants the relationship. You know, he said it a few times, and he said he would call in a week and we'd check it out again. I don't know.
Well, men can only mostly handle so much. I call it they go into their man cave, they process it, and then they come back out. And so let him process these emotions and then go on to the next one. I watched on TV about men's brains and women's brains. Men's brains go A, B, C, back to A. Ours go A, B, C, D, E, F, and all over the place. So try to keep it simple. If he goes in his man cave, leave him alone, let him come out, let him process, and then he'll come in, and then he'll have to go to the next layer and the next layer. That's how they work. So right now he's in his man cave, but that's why I get maybe in about a week things will start happening.
Okay.
Because it's very intense between you two.
It is very intense. Oh, God, it's so intense. Oh, my Lord.
Richard or anybody else have anything to say, Aileen?
What I feel in your voice. I just feel in your voice that you don't know. So what God's telling me to tell you is just keep yourself busy with what you love to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Live your life.
Stay independent.
Just keep living your life. Just
all
keep
right,
filling yourself with happiness. You know, just keep filling, and he'll sort everything out. He'll see that you're happy, and he'll flow right back to you. Don't get into sadness. Don't get into confusion. Don't get into worry. None of that. You know.
Right.
Just go stay centered and focus on the things that you love. And when you hear him on the voice, say, "Oh, it's so good to hear you again." You know, give him a lot of empowerment. Empower his energy with your love of yourself. That's all.
Okay. All right.
That's what I feel.
That sounded like good advice. I've been hearing a lot lately. I watched The Bachelor, but men don't really like needy women for some reason. And at the same time, the only way I've ever caught a man, and it took me 5 years to get my last husband. God bless his soul. He's on the other side now. But for 5 years, I went steady or was engaged. And he was always saying he never wanted to get married again. He never wanted to get married again because he'd been married. But after 5 years of persistence, I learned to let him go and give him just enough rope to get out and go all over the place and do whatever he wanted, but he always came back. So, and I have to admit, he had a couple of women in there. So, I'm not proud of that, but, that's just life. So as an ET experiencer and a psychic, I would tell you that you be you and be the best you can be. And you have to envision what you want. And I'll give you a key. When you lay down at night, and you're going to sleep, and that time when everything starts creeping into your brain, and you're like, I don't want to think about that, but you do. You lay there and learn how to do the meditation, and there's certain meditations you can learn. And as you get right before you're going to sleep, you have to train yourself to do this. It's almost like self-hypnosis, and I have to do this because this is how I got all my men. It's how I got all my jobs, all my money. Was you do this, and it comes to you because you create it. You see yourself with this gentleman. You see yourself sleeping next to him. You see your future, and you make it as real as possible, and it really works. And you can study it. There's on YouTube's on it. Neville Goddard teaches you that. Neville, Neville Goddard. But I used to follow Wayne Dyer all the time. But this one, I already knew because I've been practicing it since I was a teenager and nobody taught me. I had to learn on my own because I had psychic abilities. So I hope that helps you too. Richard, you got anything? Since we're just talking here.
Well, I was just going to add to the mix that, you're sounding very, very anxious. And when you get in a position of anxiety, it's when you start creating obstacles for yourself. So back away and back out of anxiety and just say, look, this is a perfect solution. This is a perfect interception of the person that I desired most. And they've come into my life and they've overwhelmed me and I've overwhelmed them. And so what you do is you say, well, wow, we're glad that we're overwhelming each other. We're happy that we're overwhelming each other. And let's now create a reality with each other and move forward from there.
I have one more thing to say. What I helped, because I've read a lot on men and women communications, there's a really good book. It's called Why Men Love Bitches and Why Men Marry Bitches. And basically, it's like when you're strong and independent, like what TJ was saying, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, they respect you more. The more love you give to men, it's not in their brain. So you've got to just stand tall and just like they said, separate, do your own thing, and let him come after you, because either the lazy lion or the hunter. Let him be the hunter towards you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't bother him. I don't bug him. I get on with my life.
But it's also an energy. It's an energy level too. You need to pull back on an energy level because people are psychically connected. And so if you have that anxiety on certain levels, he may feel it. So just, get strong, independent, not that you're not, and let him pursue you.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, just do your own thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there something else, Bob, besides this relationship? Let's look at your whole self. Do you mind? There's nobody else on the board right now. Can we concentrate on you for a minute?
Sure, go right ahead. Go. Cool. No, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. I mean, it's all about
everything about your relationship.
Yeah. So no. I mean, my God, everything. I have work. I have my interests. I have yoga. I have workout. I ride my bike. I do my work. No, I'm cool. I've got friends. It's just this came into my life out of nowhere, and I have not experienced this ever. And I'm like, what the heck is this all about? Why did it come now? It's very it's a complication, actually, for my life.
Is he younger than you?
Oh, you're good. That's one thing right there. What did she say?
What can I say? He's younger than her. She's a cougar. She doesn't want to be a cougar. Boy, do I know that one. He was 7.5 years younger than me, but boy, was he worth it. But he's gone now, so age is just a number. I mean, I'm still here. He left. He's left the planet, just so you know. But, okay. Well, yummy, let's hear.
Yeah, yummy is totally correct. But I'm not, I didn't plan it. I didn't, and I was talking to someone this morning who I trust, and I said, God, did he set me up for this? I don't know what's going on. My head is spinning. And no one thinks it was a setup. We know mutual people and stuff like that. Oh, my Lord, my life is, my world with him in it, I don't know what, I'm totally confused by all of this. Yeah, you're right. He is younger. He's totally younger, but I'm still so crazy about him.
Well, is it over 20 years? Let me ask you that. Is it over 20 years? Like you're 55? Okay. Well, then listen, I'm working with people at that, okay? So you're good. You're good. Love is one of those things that bites you when you least expect it. You've got to admit that, right? And it does complicate if you weren't ready, but I really think you're ready. I think you're excited about it, but you're like, I don't want what will people think. So, things like that. Surely it's not complicated financially, right? It's okay where you are. Think about it. Put it on the table.
I can I take care of myself, and he's got his thing together. I would never blend. I mean, no, that would be out of the question. You know, I would never go with anyone. I haven't been with anyone. You know, I just wouldn't do that kind of thing where someone was needy financially. That's something I would have not, you know, when I was 18 years old. I mean, at this bright age, I would never, ever, you know, screw around with someone.
Well, how old are you right now? How old are you and how old is he?
Old enough to be respectable, but too old to resist.
All older than you. Don't worry. We're all up there, so it's okay to share.
I'm 70. I'll be 70 this year, but I don't feel. I feel like I'm going on 45.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe you're 70. I don't believe you're 70.
Well, Aileen doesn't sound her age either. You know.
No, I don't look my age either.
I'm
How
sure.
old are you?
Who, me?
The one we're talking with. No, the girl we're talking with.
I'm in my 50s.
Okay. 50?
Yeah.
Well, you've heard the term star-crossed lovers, haven't you? That's when two spirits agree to come into life and agree to meet each other at certain pathways or certain specific intercessions or specific events, and they agree to meet, and it's like when they do meet, the fire is so intense between the two that people call them star-crossed lovers, because when they're together, they're so in sync in so many different ways on so many different levels. It's like they are injecting each other, you could say, from a spiritual aspect with as much goodness as each of them can tolerate from the other.
Wow, dead silence. Does that is he special? Do you feel his uniqueness, like his star quality?
I don't know what I feel. I'm just crazy about him.
Oh, well, that's good enough. And he's crazy about you, too. And he's not married, right?
God, no.
Well, then this is all
So
because you really want to do this, and you haven't given yourself permission to accept that, is what I'm hearing, because, you know, it's the fun, it's the journey, isn't it? I'm one of those that once I get there, of course, I've got a lot of mail I'm trying to balance out.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
I am.
Oh, okay. It went in and out. No, you know, this is what's going on. I'm selling my house. I'm getting out of a very bad relationship. And he came into my life. I hired him to help me clear out my house. And we know mutual people, so I know about him. He's not like a complete stranger. And he's just, you know, and I told somebody, I said, he's just a very hard worker. At first, I was very grateful. But all of a sudden, I could feel him, you know, and I would look at him, and I was shocked by how he was looking at me. And I thought, what the hell is this? And then when it all ended, and we were having great conversations and laughing as we were getting everything done. And then I told him afterwards, I missed our conversations. And he said, I will too. And then he wouldn't leave. One night he just wouldn't leave. I said, I'm really exhausted. We were talking, and I said, I have to get to bed. I'm so tired. And he just kept talking and talking and talking. He likes to talk a lot. And I kept saying, I had to say it 3 times, and that concerned me. But I haven't seen any signs of any weirdness from him. But then I called him for a bogus reason after it was all said and done, and I said, I have another project. I said, could you come over and take a look at it? And then he came, and we briefly talked about it, but it was a legitimate concern. And then I said, well, you want to hang out? And then I told him, I said, I really liked our conversations. He said, I did too. I said, I'd like to hang out with you. And he said, okay. And so that's when it went into intimacy. And I didn't realize what I was doing. I mean, I didn't know that this would be the way it is now. I'm planning on selling my house, and I was planning on relocating about 5 hours away.
Well, we'll see how he feels about that because he'll either move with you or he won't. So that's the only time you have to be worried about it. But you don't have to be worried about it right now. I just enjoy it, if it was me, personally. Oh, my goodness, we got people. Well, I guess we'll go tend to some of these other ladies or men, if you don't mind. But thank you for calling and sharing your life. I think you're doing exactly what you need to be doing.
Thank you.
You bet. You hang in there. We'll be back here tomorrow, so come back and see us. All right, folks.
Thank you.
I see you. Let's do this 773-818. You're live and on the air. Where are you calling from, 773? What can we do for you?
Hi, I'm calling from Indianapolis.
And what's your name?
Joellen.
Okay, say that one more time, and I'm going to turn this over to Marci. If Marci, I don't know if question or whatever.
Hi.
Hi. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how you see my career progressing with the school that I'm at.
I'm almost seeing like you're going to go, it's going to split into two different paths, and it's almost like you're going to balance both of them. Is there one that you use your hands or drawings or something?
Yeah.
Or writing?
I'm a graphic design teacher, and I like what I do. I would like to do more freelance work. And as a teacher, I put my heart into everything I do, and sometimes I just get so, I don't know the word, I make mistakes, and
No,
I do the best
I understand, and that's why I said you're extremely talented, but you underestimate yourself. And Aileen is also on. She's an artist. So it's all like, I went to school for computer graphics. I love all that. I just can't draw. I just love the photography stuff. But I think in June, you're going to get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I think you're just going to branch off on your own. So you're at that breaking point right now. You got a couple more months to go, and then I think September, things will really start, you'll start getting noticed a lot more. Because you need to find your passion.
The school, do they like what I do? I mean, if I had my druthers, I would really like to balance both for at least a year.
Well, you will. And that's what I'm saying. I'm seeing right now one road, and then it's going to split off into two. So that's what I'm saying. You're underestimating your abilities. They're going to love your work, and you're going to get yourself more and more well known as to who and what you are. And I'm almost seeing like probably around December, famous people are going to start calling you, or big companies are going to start calling you. You just got to have more confidence in yourself.
Can I ask, though, does my school, do they like me? I always feel like I'm always under the gun with them.
I think it's because you have a really strong presence, and that's what I found out with my life and Richard. And when you have a really strong presence or a mirroring energy, or when you're a clear psychic, which I feel like you are, or intuitive, you mirror energy to other people, which brings out their dark selves. So what I tell people is don't take their reality personally. You're very good at what you do, and they know it. And you're also very clear. And so just take back your power and go forward and not worry what they say.
All right. So
I felt an aha moment on that. What?
I still have job security then.
You will. Okay. But I think you're gonna branch off and have a really big job security. I'm being told by December. Between September and December, things are going to really accelerate in December.
Okay, because I feel like I kind of made a mistake today, and I I was just doing some backtracking, but I just want to make sure it's still going to be okay at my school.
I get it was a lesson. Now you wipe that off, and now you can move forward.
Well, thank you. That really puts my mind at ease. I appreciate it.
Don't underestimate yourself. Just know you're in power. Take back your power, and they will feel it and go forward. Because one of the things I love doing is empowering people.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like today, I felt like there's moments where I really feel like I have a purpose with these, this high school and these kids. And then there's other moments where I'm like, am I marking time?
Well, it's like one thing I do is I work with mentally challenged people. That's my real job. My other job, which I love doing, is my toning. And just do your part-time job while your other one takes off.
Okay.
Because you're slowly dying inside, and you need to get to yourself and your passion. Passion is doing the things that you want to do. Stress is doing the things that other people want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you're stressed because your passion's gone. So you need to get back who and what you are. That will start. You'll start exuberating. It's like living instead of existing. And don't take their realities personally. Just go forward. They're threatened by you. You know what you're doing. You've got a good gift. Give it to the world.
Okay, so the mistake I made today is okay then. I just want to hear that again. I've resolved the problem I did today. Everything should be okay.
What was the mistake?
That I got upset and
we're emotional. Don't.
Yeah. Hard. A feeling.
It's okay. I call it cleansing or erupting. Like a volcano. Once we cleanse, then we're clear. And so you cleared out that stuff, so now you're in a much clearer state. We're all human. We all have to express. You're fine.
I know. It's just at this school, I just feel like no one can make a mistake. And, even if you do something well.
Well, then that's their problem. So you need to go more with where your passion is. And because when I do healing work on people, a lot of times I work in toxic environments or I work on people in toxic environments. And what happens is diseases is 75% emotional and mental. And if you don't work through all that stuff, your body is going to break down. So, you need to look at what do you want to do to get yourself back to being alive or what you're suppressing and what's slowly killing you. And that's what I'm saying, just take that energy back. You'll be fine. Just start going on your own.
Okay.
Richard or TJ or anybody else have opinions? Are they there?
I think that's pretty much covering it, I think you've answered all our questions. And it sounds like very sound advice to me. If you go after your passion, then the rest of it all falls away. In other words, like a brand new tree shooting up from the earth, and you start building your strength in your branches, and then, whatever was dead wood that was holding you back in any way just falls away. And as it does, then in turn, of course, your creativity blossoms as well. And that's when you actually become more your authentic self and your real self, and you don't really have to worry about the opinions, places, and so forth of other people, because God will actually smile down upon you and make your path a whole lot smoother than it had been before. Sound good?
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I feel your energy shifting and aligning, which is good. Also, on an energy level, our personality goes horizontal and our authentic self goes vertical. So as we get more and more of our authentic self, we start getting a presence more and more, and people feel it. And then things will start being more synchronized for you.
You're a graphic artist.
Something?
Do you do book covers by chance? Because we can always use graphic artists on domains and websites. I don't know if you're for hire or not. But,
sure. I will be now. No. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I'll send you all, I'm looking on the website to see if there's an email I can send you.
Oh, okay. Well, it's tjmorrisagency@gmail.com, but yeah, we can always use graphic artists. I've been looking for some, as a matter of fact, but I'll put it out here. And most of us are all psychics, but all of us also, I think we're all working on books. If we aren't, we should be, because we're all 50 and over, you know. So 50 and over, you're supposed to write your memoirs. But yeah, give me your first name again. Let me put you in my book. You're 773, aren't you?
Yes, I live in Indianapolis, but I used to live in Chicago, so that's 773.
Oh, okay. Well, let me write down and give me your first name again, and I'll write your number down and put graphic artist and give you a call later. Okay.
Sure.
Because you can go ahead.
Ellen.
I can certainly use your talents. That's for sure.
Okay. JOELLEN.
How much you guided you?
Yeah.
Joe Ellen, and you're now in Indy. And hopefully you're going to be an indie graphic artist too, but it's a 773 number, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, is that your personal cell phone that you can receive career calls on?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Well, I just wrote down Joelle, and of course, it's in my book of memories. Let's say Holding On to Sanity is my book, so you're in there. So well, yeah, you may want to look at Fiverr, Fiverr. A lot of artists go on there, and it doesn't cost you anything, and you can put your name and what you do. Just go up there and throw up, that you do covers and brands and things, whatever you feel like doing for fun, and see, put yourself out there as a professional. So not only are you teaching at school and helping graphic artists, you're getting paid for what you like doing. I hope this is your passion, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, how would you like to work with a bunch of spiritual scientists writing books? We do paranormal romance too, and science fiction, so you can get real creative with that stuff, right?
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate everyone's insight.
I can start to come more alive now. Joellen, I can feel you starting to come more alive.
Can I just share something? As an artist, a full-time professional artist since I'm 13, actually 16, the whole thing is that you have to let spirit pull your umbilical cord. If anybody tries to cross your tracks, just keep moving forward. And you will attract those who want your work. That's just the way it is. Just look what happened here. These people came to you. So if you get emotional, put it into your art. Put it into your design. Put it onto the paper, onto the canvas, or onto the computer, whichever way you do it. But never give up yourself for another person. Just say, they're not on my wavelength. They don't see what I do. Thank you very much for the lesson. I move forward.
Great advice.
That's all. Pick yourself up. It's ridiculous. You're worth more than that. Those people can't get you. It's okay. They're not supposed to. They're not on your frequency. They're not on your wavelength. They don't have the eyes that you see.
Well, they are paying the bills right now.
Yeah, but don't. That's the thing is that I've never done my work for money. Money comes to me because I do it because I love it. You have to shift your head. And what TJ said about Fiverr, my brother just wrote a children's book, and he found a graphic artist on there, and she did the cutest story images for him. And now he's going to, start selling it. So you could put your stuff up there. There's another website that's called, and I go on there, Skillshare, and you could teach art on there if you want. And people will come in and sign up for your classes. There's a lot of different varieties of things out there for you to tap into. Okay, that's it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Okay. On to the next. Or
who was that, Aileen sharing?
Yeah, that was Aileen that was given the last piece of advice.
Nice, Aileen. Yeah, with the artist.
Yeah, it was nice.
You should come back more often and help our intuitive. You bet. Yeah, that's nice that an artist can, fill another artist and it's passion, and we don't have anybody left on the board, amazingly. So guess what? Let's go back. I'm going to ask Marci real quick so people will have it on the show since I did ask you about it. Marci, would you and Richard just take just a second while the board, there's nobody, we've only got 18 minutes left, folks. So if you want to call in, it's 347-945-7207. But in the meantime, please share with the world your insight on how you felt, because it was a 2-hour show with Oprah. But anything other than the basic sound bites of, they did, what would you say about what you heard for the people that would like to know that didn't watch it? Can you do a short sound bite?
Yeah, I'm glad. The whole thing with Tyler Perry, giving them their house, Tyler Perry was abused himself. And so he empathized, I think, with Meghan and Harry, because he's been there himself.
Whoa. I hadn't heard that part. I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah, I watched the whole thing. Yeah, he was very abused as a child. And he used to hide underneath his porch. And he calls what his writing is, I forgot how he puts it, but yeah, that's why I think he empathized with them, because they had no support. And I think he understood what it's like to not have support. And that's kind of like what I do, where I understood where it was like, where growing up, I had to be on my own. And that's why I'm connecting with people and helping them connect with each other as far as what's going on. So that's my take of Harry and Meghan, and what's going on with them. I don't really watch too much on the Royals. That was just an energy of what's happening.
Well, I didn't know that was part of the story. So, folks, we're talking about Prince Harry that has abdicated his throne, I guess, once or twice removed between his father and his older brother, but even his son Archie wouldn't have had a title, apparently. That's what I heard from his wife Meghan Markle. But now I don't even know what you call him other than the Prince Harry and Meghan story on Oprah Winfrey. That's made all the everyone around the world set up, because they had left and gone to Canada and then come to America. But am I hearing you right? Tyler Perry, like Big Mama, that does all the television shows and producer. I mean, movies. He makes movies. That Tyler Perry gave him his house to live in, because they didn't give them any money. I mean, they just had to say bye, or what's up with that?
Well, he said that Harry said he got the inheritance from his mother, so they've been living off that. And Meghan, the connections on that. Plus, it's all, again, like hidden secrets, everybody thinks everybody lives in nice houses, everybody's all happy. And that's why I wrote my books, Walk Through the Wizards, because I grew up in an upper middle class, and people think that everything's nice, and there's just abuse is just behind bigger doors. And that's kind of like what Meghan went through with, the silencing, and she assumed she was going to be protected, and, they pulled back everything, and that's why they moved. Because
do you know anything about her? Do you know any?
No.
Can you share any insight? Or I don't even know who she is.
I don't know anything about her. I know she was on Deal or No Deal. She's been an actress. I like her energy, but I don't really follow too much with the tabloids. I just hear articles here and there, or I listen to people's interviews and I put pieces together. So that's kind of my gist on the whole thing.
So basically the story was that they left the UK and no longer live in the castle or one of the houses.
Well, a big part of it was
racism.
It was racism, and that was a big part of it. And then while she was pregnant, she found out she has no support. She thought that her friends were concerned with her, because I read that today. And she's like, no, I'm being supported. And then they didn't want to give her any money as a job or anything like that. So that's part of why England's all upset with the whole racism thing. And that's why they moved.
Thing? I didn't hear about a racism thing.
The whole racism thing, when she was pregnant, it was somebody had said something, not Philip or the Queen, as to the baby and the color. They were concerned about that. Harry won't talk about it, but that was part of it. They were concerned about that. So there was a lot of underlying, and 72 of the people in the palace came up to her and approached her about how the concerns about the racism. That's one of the main reasons why they moved, because they found out they had no support.
Is she a woman of color? Did they call it?
Yeah, she's black and white. Her father's white and her mother's black.
Oh, okay. So that's why they were worried about the color of the baby, possibly skipping a generation. Right. But the white. He's quite white, almost pink with that red hair. So,
right.
And I didn't know that she was a woman of color, because I really don't know who I'm talking about. So apparently Meghan married Harry, and she was from America. You can tell I don't.
Yeah, she's an actress. She's a model. She's an actress. You know, they met at a party.
They met at a party, okay. And who arranged that party? Anybody know? Did Richard?
I don't know. I don't keep track. That was a long time ago. Somebody knew somebody, and you know.
I guess we're supposed to talk
about. I just focus
it.
on my own stuff.
All the people in all the other areas, and normally spiritual scientists aren't really up on exactly instantly what's out there. But when Oprah gets it, and people want to come over to my house, and I'm trying to do a radio show, and they're wanting to do other things, and by the way, would you let us watch this? I'm like, what? And they said, you know, the Meghan Markle story, you know, Oprah. And I was like, no, I don't know. I try to be up on everything, but that news escaped me. So I guess I was supposed to be able to tune in. So, folks, if you tune in, it's that 24 hours where Meghan Markle and Prince Harry sit down on primetime interview with Oprah, who apparently sold the story for $7 million to CBS. I heard that part. I was like, really? That was a soundbite, but I can't tell you who my source is or my reference, because I was flipping through YouTube on different channels. So anybody know? CBS bought it, I guess, as soon as she did it, right? The story.
Well, I caught part of the interview of Oprah with Meghan, okay? And, of course, I was already aware of the background of Harry, having abdicated his royal succession, and that basically, yes, he was kind of not thrown away, but asked to leave most politely, I'll put it that way, okay?
They took away all his medals.
Yeah, right, exactly. They removed his successorship in total. So, in other words, he has no royal title whatsoever. Because he has no royal title, Meghan doesn't receive one. And, of course, now that they're having a child, the child would not be protected by the royals in any way, shape, or form, or any other sectarial group, per se, that would be in support of the royals. And, yes, there is a bit of bias and possible prejudice and racism involved, because she is a woman of color, and there's a great concern as to exactly how dark or light the child will be, and all of this kind of thing. But, yeah, they moved completely away from the UK. They're living now in the United States. And, you know, Tyler Perry got involved in a number of other socialites in addition to Oprah. And they basically found themselves completely unsupported and completely unfriended to a large degree. There was a lot of rejection that went on, on both sides of the sea, you could say. And that... the story is out there, and I mean, it's really kind of cruel, and it's really kind of shows indifference, and it kind of shows all kinds of. Of course, you also have to understand that Harry's marriage to Meghan was never approved royally to begin with, and this was the cornerstone as to why he abdicated his throne in order to marry her.
Well, if Megan is from America, so she's an American princess, is that not true now, or does she not get to be a princess like we hear about?
No, they have all titles stripped. They have, they're nothing right now. They
they're just regular human beings.
Off of her paycheck. They just said, go live off of your acting, your actressing, your modeling. They just pretty much, they weren't paying her anything over there. And I think it's like the hypocrisy of people think everybody's all happy, the princess, whatever's going on. And also the UK is supposed to be very much into, equality. And then they found out these subtle levels. And then Harry would say, he'd go ask, because that's just the way it is. So it's thousands of years of that's the way it is, and they weren't willing to change.
Okay, well, that's what happens when an American comes to the UK to marry a future king, I guess, the princess. Now, I'm reading right now where she's expecting a second child. So Archie is going to be a big brother. So that's
exciting.
A girl. Oh, you already know. How did you find out so quick?
Because I watched the show.
Oh, you watched the show.
They told. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they told Oprah.
They did. They released a lot of information, and I can't get to it all because I didn't tune in. Well, folks, that's the way it goes. Sometimes you're live, and sometimes you got to go back and listen to the archives, which that's exactly what we do here now. So hopefully you'll enjoy us being together as spiritual scientists, metaphysicians, artists. We have mystics, oracles, psychics, sages, seers, and, we feel like we're supporting that alien civilizations exist and the aspiring citizens that come down here. Bye, baby. I'm saying bye. You want to say hi, Keisha?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Y'all let Keisha say hi.
Hey.
She's one of the girls that came over to see about, was Meghan Markle, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. She had to wash your clothes over here. All right. But people come and go, and this is a live radio if you can't tell. So I really appreciate everybody for showing up, especially Aileen and Laura tonight, which are still on. And you know what? They were very quiet. They must mute their phones. They didn't make a peep. So we appreciate all of you showing up tonight. You're all still on. All right. Well, I don't know how you're going to like your show, Marci, for the first one. I knew it wouldn't be just an interview because I knew you wanted to do your tones and let people, get some exposure to that because we're really moving into those higher dimensions now, folks. And Richard Knight and I can pretty much play at all those levels that she does. So we appreciate you, staying with us all this time. And
of course.
Marci, would you like to share anything? Because tomorrow, I don't know what is metaphysics. We talk metaphysics, but everybody's invited back tomorrow. But Marci, why don't you tell people what you envision for yourself and if you envision yourself on the TJ Morris ET radio brand or not?
Well, now I do because you guys we were tweaking everything the last week. Also, the universe kind of stepped away my job, and they've done that before where I worked in another place with mentally challenged people, and Richard was helping me in support on that. And then I ended up writing my book after that, the Theta book, which is on Amazon, and my other book, We're Off to Be the Wizard, my trilogy. So they're like, you're done. So usually they'll tell me. So I've learned when I try to go right, they send me left. So I just threw up my hands. And they're like, do it. So they're behind it. It's going to be powerful, the energy that's going on. My tones are also on Cosmos or under Marci Kosich, where what I was learning about with the tones or reading with Chiron is the tones go through the veils. They've been around for thousands of years. They help on levels of the DNA on your body. And I asked Elohim one time, I said, can anybody do what I do? They said a few, and this is like 8 years ago. I said, does anybody do what I do? And they said no. And so it's been an interesting, very powerful journey, working with the masters, having them come through, because that's what the whole Christ consciousness was to empower us, to get our own power not to be followed. And so the more people empower themselves, the more stronger that they are. So you guys can find me on LinkedIn under Marci Kosich, or my email at marcikosich2@gmail.com, or on Facebook. You know, I'd love to all talk and interact, and hopefully Aileen and I can interact, and, you know, the whole thing, because all bringing up that white consciousness together.
All right. You want me to put your email on here with mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
marcikosich2@gmail.com, and we're also going to put spirituality, spirituality, and tranquility for Richard, for you ladies out there. It's easy to remember and it looks pretty. Spirituality and tranquility at Gmail, which all of you guys can remember. We use Gmail. It's Google Mail, right? Because it's free, it's very efficient, and I like it better than all the others I've had and do have. I've got a lot of businesses, and it used to be they wanted me to have businesses to do business, so I'd have them, you know. But I pay one UAP.associates, $86 a year, or $68 plus $86 to have the UAP. But that's sort of like my little blog over there, UAP Associates. So you can find me as director at UAP.associates. Now this, folks, Richard and I have started a little deal on Sunday for our Ascension Church Ohana. Ascension, raising awareness, raising consciousness, especially in the spiritual community. But scientists, it's like we study and the scientific, we put the logic and cognition, and we're working intellectual with intuitional. And a lot of people like that, and I do, because a lot of us go so woo-woo out there. We live out there in woo-woo land, and I'm very good friends with Cliff High in my mind's eye, though I've never met him or talked to him. So that's what woo-woo's about. You think you know people because you follow them on YouTube, or you've heard them, you know, at events or something, and other people. So Richard Knight, you want to give your last minute or so? And are we going to come back tomorrow for you? Because we sort of did Wednesday for teaching metaphysics. Richard, back to you.
Yeah, I'm here. So, I mean, you know, yes, like TJ said, that, you know, I can be reached at spirituality and the word and, A-N-D, tranquility @gmail.com. I can also be reached at RT Knight, which is my first initials and my last name, 35, also at gmail.com. I can be found on LinkedIn. I can be found on Facebook as Richard Knight, and you'll recognize my profile because I have the Archangel Michael as the picture on my profile. And that's to distinguish me from several other Richard Knights that I've come to know are around, evidently, including someone who's in the same work that I am with the same identical name, but they happen to live in the UK. So anyway, life is a mysterious journey, and it's wonderful when people of like mind just come together like moth to a flame, and we all get together and do our thing, and we resound out to the universe that, you know, we're here to help others ascend upon the path of awakening to their highest and truest or most authentic selves. And that's what TJ and I are about, and that's what Marci's all about. And we all have various paths, and yet there are junctures of those same paths or interludes in those paths that basically support each other in a lot of different aspects. So anyway, yes, we will be doing metaphysics tomorrow night. So come join us or listen in or whatever you wish to do. We do the psychic mini readings on Thursdays. We're going to be opening up possibly Fridays to ufology again. You know, I mean, this is up to you, of course, Theresa and TJ. I mean, you know, this is your platform. Yes, I am your co-host, but I am supportive of any and all reach out or outreach programs we have. And then, of course, on Saturdays, we have the paranormal, which is open to all paranormal groups. And then, of course, Sunday is basically, again, our Spiritual Ascension Church, Ohana, with the theme, of course, to
914, did you want to say something? I think they turned into it. Yeah. Did you have a question? Yeah, we're fixing to go off the air, but go ahead. We'll have
Thank
It'll be
you.
quick.
I'll be quick, if I can. I was wondering if you see Bruce working with me on my projects in the future.
Bruce on projects. Well, let's ask our Marci. Is this just a vibrational tone for you? What's your name and where are you calling from? Give us a little more.
Thank you. My name is Catherine from New York.
Catherine from New
York. Hi, Catherine.
Yes. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I just feel you're growing. You're really. It's like almost like I'm seeing with you. If he chooses to match with you, but right now you're kind of like you're going to be reborn. It's almost like an egg cracking, and you're really at a point of transition. That's what I'm getting with you. His energy feels a little bit lower. Do you almost have to work hard to connect with him?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You know, it's true. I really feel like I'm on the cusp of something. I really resonate with what you're saying.
Right. And so once you blossom, don't let him bring you down. Because you're at a point right now where like a baby chick about ready to be born or a seed that's starting to flower. And so I just feel your energy, but right now you've been overanalyzing things too much. So just let it go, open up that energy, and just blossom.
Wow.
Does that make sense to you?
Really? Yeah. I feel like I'm right on the brink of something. I don't even know what it quite looks like yet.
Don't worry about it. It's just being born into something. Mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and you're going to attract the right people that match your energy. He was almost a catalyst for certain things.
Wow.
Well,
I don't know if anybody else has anything else to say.
Meghan Markle probably started that. We are in where for 5,000 years we'll see a lot more of the goddess energy coming out. We still will be very balanced and whole-brained, intuitional, and intellectual. But let's let the Meghan Markle energy work for all women on the planet. We're coming up on March. Well, this is just a wonderful week for women, period. So let's just embrace it all, and everybody be strong, and men too. We've got to have our men in our lives to make us feel like women. So, and anybody else out there, it doesn't matter if you're red, blue, pink, yellow, green, gray, blue. If you're a gray and hanging out there with all those aliens, that's okay too. But we're just going to do our unconditional love and love everybody. So, come back to TJMRCT Radio and see what kind of people show up. I'm always interested myself as to who's going to show up. But love and light, everybody. And I think Marci and Richard are here to stay. So we'll see what it looks like a year from today, okay? So mark it on your calendar. It was Meghan Markle Day for all of us in the royal world, of us women just coming out of our cracked shells, apparently. We're all blossoming. So happy Easter, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night. Same time, same station. Richard, any last words? And Marci, you get the last words, both of you.
Love and light, and namaste to everyone,
Well, I'll just finalize it with one tone, or they're going to come through me on a tone.
Oh, that was a good one. Very good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We will return tomorrow.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Great show. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Come back. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.